Welcome to Steady Growth, where we build money, character, and resilience the same way. Small, steady, and on purpose. No hype, just honest steps that add up. Let's begin. Quick question, and be honest with yourself. Imagine you win the lottery tomorrow, a real life-changing amount of money. How long do you think it would take before you felt, more or less, normal again? Most people say years, maybe never. Surely that kind of money would lift your daily happiness for good. Well, in 1978, three psychologists decided to actually check. They tracked down 22 people who had recently won big in the state lottery, some of them up to $1 million, and measured how happy they really were. The result stopped them in their tracks. The winners were barely happier than their ordinary neighbors who hadn't won a thing. And here's the part that's almost eerie. The winners took less pleasure than everyone else in life's small joys. The morning coffee, the easy conversation, a good meal, a compliment from a friend. The ordinary sweetness of life had quietly gone flat for them. They had gotten the exact thing we're all half convinced will fix everything, and within a remarkably short time, they had floated right back to about where they started. There's a name for what happened to those winners, and once you see it, you'll find it running underneath almost every money decision you've ever made. It's called the Hedonic Treadmill, and it's the reason more never quite feels like enough. Here's the idea underneath it. Human beings adapt to almost everything. Something wonderful happens, a raise, a new car, a bigger house, the phone you've been eyeing, and your happiness genuinely spikes. For a while, it's a real thrill. And then, quietly, something happens that we almost never notice. It becomes normal. The new car becomes just the car. The raise becomes just my salary. The thing that thrilled you on Monday is, by some ordinary Tuesday a few weeks later, simply the background of your life. Your happiness has drifted back down to about where it was before, except now it takes the new, bigger thing just to stay there. That's the treadmill. You step it up, you get your burst of joy, you adapt, the joy fades, and you're right back where you started. Only now you need the next, bigger thing to feel that same lift. You're running harder and harder just to stay in the same emotional place. And here's the cruel little trick. The running feels like progress. It feels like you're almost there. But the finish line quietly moves every single time you reach it. So why on earth would we be built to never stay satisfied? Because honestly, dissatisfaction kept our ancestors alive. Picture two early humans. One feels perfectly content after a single good meal, one safe shelter, one decent tool, and feels no itch to improve anything. The other gets that same reward, enjoys it briefly, adapts, and immediately starts wanting more. A bigger store of food, a sturdier shelter, a sharper blade. Across thousands of years, it's the restless one who survives the hard winter and whose descendants are us. Contentment, in pure survival terms, was almost dangerous. So we inherited a mind that treats every achievement as the new baseline and instantly starts scanning for the next one. And read that as good news about yourself. It is not a flaw in you, and it is not greed. It's a feature, a brilliant one built for a world of scarcity. The trouble is that this same ancient engine dropped into a modern world of endless upgrades and one-click checkout stops keeping us alive and just keeps us spending, chasing a finish line that, by its very design, was built to move. Now here's where the treadmill quietly drains your financial life. Because you adapt to every upgrade, each one stops feeling special, so you reach for the next. The apartment that once felt like freedom starts to feel cramped, so you need the house. The house, thrilling at first, becomes ordinary, so you start eyeing the bigger one down the street. The reliable car that was perfectly fine last year isn't exciting anymore, so you trade up. Economists actually have a name for this: lifestyle creep. And the treadmill is its engine. As your income climbs, your spending climbs right alongside it, and your sense of what counts as enough climbs fastest of all. Which leads to one of the quietest tragedies in personal finance. You can double your income over a decade and end up feeling exactly as stretched as you did before, because your baseline rose to swallow every raise. People work harder, earn more, buy more, and feel no richer at all because they're measuring their life against a standard that resets the instant they succeed. The treadmill will happily take everything you ever earn and still leave you feeling like it isn't quite enough. Now here's the genuinely hopeful turn, and it's the heart of this whole idea. The same adaptation that makes the good things fade also means you adapt to less far better than you fear. We're certain that giving something up, a smaller place, an older car, a few canceled subscriptions, would make us permanently miserable. But the treadmill runs in both directions. Just as you adapt to more, you adapt to less, and you settle back toward your baseline surprisingly fast. The downgrade you're quietly dreading usually stings for a couple of weeks, and then it becomes, simply, your normal life. Except this version costs less and frees up real money for what actually matters. And there's a second gift hiding in here. If buying things doesn't move your happiness for long anyway, then you can stop pinning your contentment on the next purchase altogether. You are not broken for failing to stay thrilled by your stuff. You're experiencing a universal feature of the human mind. Every single person watching this has the same wiring, which means you can stop running and start spending your money and your attention on the few things that genuinely don't fade. So, if upgrades fade, what doesn't? Researchers who study this keep landing on the same shortlist, things that resist the treadmill far better than possessions do. The first is people, your relationships, and time with the ones you love. We adapt to a nicer kitchen within a month. We never quite adapt away the warmth of a close friendship or an unhurried dinner with family. The second is experiences over objects. A new thing sits in your house getting more ordinary by the day, but an experience, a trip, a concert, a hard climb up a mountain, keeps paying you back as a memory and often grows fonder with the years instead of fading. And the third one genuinely surprises people. In one well-known experiment, researchers handed people a little money, for some $5, for others $20, and asked half of them to spend it on themselves and half to spend it on someone else by the end of the day. That evening, the people who had spent it on someone else were measurably happier, and the amount turned out not to matter at all. $5 given away did just as much as 20. Generosity, it turns out, is one of the few kinds of spending the treadmill can't erode. So the move was never to stop spending. It's to spend on purpose, on the things that hold their value, like people, experiences, and giving, and to go easy on the upgrades you'll have stopped noticing by next month. So how do you actually step off? 3 small, doable practices. First, define your enough, on purpose and in advance. The treadmill works precisely because enough is a moving target you never actually name, so it forever hovers just past wherever you are. The moment you decide it out loud, this house, this car, this income is enough, and past it, I am choosing contentment over the climb, you quietly take the engine's power away. Second, build in a wait before you upgrade. The wanting is always most intense right before you buy, and it fades fast afterward. So put a simple pause on any big purchase, say 30 days, and let the craving cool. You'll be amazed how many must-haves evaporate on their own. And third, practice savoring what you already have, deliberately, because adaptation is really just no longer noticing, and gratitude is simply how you start noticing again. Naming a few things you already own and already love on a regular basis gently resets your baseline back downward, so the life you've already built starts feeling like enough again. That's the quiet magic of it. You can become richer in the only way that lasts without earning a single extra dollar. Now, let me be honest with you, because on this channel, calm and accurate beats clever. Two honest things. First, none of this means money doesn't matter, or that you should feel 1 ounce of guilt for wanting more. Below a certain point, money buys a real, lasting relief. Getting out from under debt, covering the basics, escaping the daily grind of genuine scarcity moves your happiness in a way that doesn't just fade. The treadmill is about what happens past the point where your real needs are already met, the upgrades stacked on top of upgrades. Second, adaptation is powerful, but it is not total. We don't fully adapt to everything. Some genuinely hard circumstances weigh on people for the long haul, and it would be glib and unkind to pretend a sunny attitude erases real hardship. So hold this gently and honestly. The goal was never to want nothing. It's to see the treadmill clearly, so that the more you do chase is the more that actually matters. And so you stop spending your one and only life sprinting after a finish line that was always, always going to move. So here's the whole thing to carry with you. Your mind is built to adapt, to turn every thrilling new thing into an ordinary old thing, and to immediately go looking for the next one. That treadmill will run for as long as you let it, and it will quietly take everything you earn while leaving you feeling like it still isn't enough. But you can step off. You can spend on the things that don't fade: people, experiences, generosity. You can wait out the wanting and savor what is already yours. And above all, you can do the one thing the treadmill cannot survive. You can decide on purpose what enough actually means for you. Because enough was never going to arrive on its own, and no amount of waiting or earning was ever going to deliver it. Enough isn't a number the world hands you. Enough is a decision. And the day you make it is the day the running finally stops. If something here was useful today, the best thing you can do is use it tonight in one small way. And if you'd like to keep growing with us, you're welcome in our tribe at familycreative.org. It's where we gather the tools and resources we build for people doing this on purpose, and where you can learn more, share what's working, and help someone a few steps behind you. That's the whole point. Small, steady, together. Be kind, try hard, do the work, build the family. We'll see you in the next one.